Soundbox presents Lego Transformers.
Hey, young man, you need to get to church. Oh, hi, Father. Yes, I'll see you on Sunday. Whoa, what was that? That cawing noise reminds me of what Safari Man once went through with a giant bird. Hopefully I can learn from his mistakes. Ha 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 ha! Unlike Safari Man, I'm gonna duck. Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha! I don't need your help. Sinnertwin. Hello, LEGO Transformers fans. This is Soundbox with another exciting episode of LEGO Transformers. This time we have one of the Terrorcons, who combine into Abominus. He is G1 Terrorcon Sinnertwin. You can see here, he looks pretty cool. He's a two-headed lion type creature. And so I gave him two different heads. I made one with a sharp spike and one a little flat to give him some variety in his head. So he looks a little bit different. He's got this lovely color scheme of yellow and green. And I think that looks really great. And the green legs, which match his legs of the actual figure. And so these are his basic colors in the G1 show. Now some nice things about him. His head can move up and down. And so can this head. There's a little rounded two stud piece in here. So his head can actually turn side to side as well. I wanted to get some nice movement in there with him. That's why he also is a little bit larger than some of my other builds. But I think it's good for the Terrorcons to be a little larger, because they are scary monsters. So here his leg can move, and it has articulation where it meets the body. It also has articulation in the hinges of the leg and in the foot. So you can do some pretty nice poses with this guy. The back legs have articulation where it meets the body, foot articulation, and a little bit of articulation in the back hinge here. So you can do some neat things with the back legs as well. So let's try to get him standing back up into a good pose. There we go. Let's look at him from the front. And from the side, the other side. And from the back. Now Sinnertwin, for those that didn't know, if you're a newer Transformer fan, they kind of renamed him to Twin Charge or something like that. But his original name was Sinnertwin. Oh, Twinstrike, that's what it was. Twinstrike in Power of the Primes. They renamed it. Here is his original G1 figure. Now you can see with the original G1 figures, the heads don't really move. They're pretty static. And they're both the same. They both got these little lion-like lizard creature things with these sharp horns sticking out. But you can see the yellowish body. It's a little more of a cheese yellow. orangey yellow than it is pure yellow, but I like the pure yellow of Lego. It pops better for this figure. And then you got the green legs, so he's got the green legs. And you got a purple tail. Now, I didn't build the tail on my Sinnertwin. It would just get in the way, and I don't think he looked very good with a tail. One of the things I wanted to capture with Sinnertwin was articulation, size, scale. I wanted them to look cool. And, of course, we have to be able to combine them. So with all those factors in the Lego world, it's hard to add some of the tinier details. And the tails kind of look a little goofy. Anyways, there he is compared to his actual G1 toy. And the Lego model is a little bit bigger. Has more articulation. And I just kind of, because I built him, I probably like him a little better. But of course, I love my G1 Transformers. Now for some more size comparisons, we'll bring out Blot. He was in an earlier episode, and he stacks up pretty well to Sinnertwin. He's about as tall as him, but he is not as long as him. Sinnertwin is really long. He's more of a lion type creature, and Blot is more of a standing type creature. But they look pretty good next to each other. And one thing I love about the Terrorcons is even though they're monstrous, they have quite the amazing color palette. So they all don't blend together. It's a pretty nice scheme of colors. Of course, these guys came to the show in the last season. So they didn't get much screen time, just except for season 3. Okay, we'll get Blot out of the way. And we'll bring in a little Bumblebee. See how he stacks up to one of my other Lego Transformers. Bumblebee is a tiny car. And he sure is tiny compared to this massive monster. And then we'll bring in the Stunticon. Breakdown. Breakdown is a pretty big Stunticon car. Pretty standard size. And basically he's pretty small too compared to Sinnertwin. So this is good because Abominus will be a huge combiner once I actually get to that stage of the game. Okay, we'll move our Stunticon out of the way and bring in Sideswipe in robot mode. So even fighting a robot, Sinnertwin is a large character, and he could even stand, sort of lift up on his back legs and look bigger. He can attack him with his paws and his face and his claws. So he is a pretty big, ferocious build. And of course the Dinobots, Predacons, Terrorcons, they all like their beast monster modes a little bit better than their robot modes. And then our little Lego man. And yes, he's terrified next to this giant beast. He's going to want to run the other way. Every time. So now, the moment you've all been waiting for, let's transform G1 Lego Transformers Sinnertwin. So to transform him, we're going to just take his heads and rotate them backwards. Okay, that'll reveal his robot head. Then we're going to take his back legs and just kind of fold them up. Just like that. Do the same to the other side. And now, this back compartment, we are going to flip it over so you can see it turns into a foot. I even put a little green spike on his back that makes his little toe to give it some variation. I'm going to slide this foot over. It's a little too close to the side, and we're going to rotate this one down. There we go. Now he's doing like a YMCA pose. Let's zoom out just a hair because he is getting bigger as we transform him. Okay, and we'll rotate his legs down, and we'll kind of just fold these legs together and then kind of bend them out a little bit. to kind of get there's all these hinges here to give it like some arm look. We're going to fold over his leg and then rotate his hand around. So now his arm has a hand. And I did the yellow hand to give it some variation, so it looked a little different, looked a little better, in my opinion. And we will rotate his other leg around, rotate his foot up, rotate his hand around. And this is all done by pins and those neat little curved pin joints, like many of my Transformers. So we'll turn him around so we can see kind of how he looks a little bit in robot mode. I also like how I put the green here, kind of give him those green shoulders. I think in the G1 cartoon he had a little bit more green on his chest than the actual figure does. Okay, so now we have Sinnertwin in robot mode. Here we have Sinnertwin in his robot mode. Now, one thing you can quickly see is he's a very tall transformer. In this, I used, when I transformed him, the same pin technology I used in many of my transformations. However, I didn't want his legs to be so stubby. Considering that the figure, his legs slide out. A lot of the Terrorcons, the figures, their legs slide out. So, because of that, I didn't want him to look stubby and small. So I put it at the end of his body, and it worked perfectly for both his creature mode and his robot mode. The only thing is it does make him very tall. He is a very tall Terrorcon. So when I finally get him to combine to Abominus, we may have to make a few slight adjustments on some of the Terrorcons. Okay, so Sinnertwin has the normal articulation. He's on a stud on his head, so his head can rotate left and right. So you look from the side. His arms, they're basically his creature legs with his hands flipped up. So he can actually move up and down, and you can use the creature joints to give him a little bit more movement. So you can make his arm stick out, you can rotate his hand sideways. So you can get more posability out of this figure, just the way that the transformation joints work and the creature joints work. His legs, while his creature legs, they're a little floppier. I got a looser pins for them. These robot legs, they turn, so you can have him running. You could actually have him in a running mode if you wanted. And those creature legs behind him help support him too, so you got him running. Or he could kick his enemies. He can just karate kick his enemies right in the face. Whoosh. And I think his color scheme looks wonderful. The yellows and the greens go perfect on this figure. I added some green shouldering. I know in the G1 cartoon he's got a little more green than the actual figure. So I wanted to capture that. I also gave him a green little square down here, mainly because the figure's got a trough where the head is. And you see green going down it. So I figure this green square breaks up the yellow. Looks good. Not quite a Decepticon symbol, but it looks pretty awesome. And you can see his heads are folded down at the back, so he still has that creature-esque vibe in robot mode. Well, you can see his limbs hanging from him too. But he captures that original essence of the toy and of the show. So here we have Sinnertwin G1 robot. And you can see my Lego version has a lot more articulation in the arms. These arms are just a little fold down for the transformation. And they're tiny and they have tiny holes and they can hold a tiny weapon. The G1 toys really sacrificed a lot just to get that combining team aspect. But remember, these toys were made in the 80s. So what's that, like 40 years ago? Here we have his creature heads are behind him. just like my figure captures that. And you can see his legs slide out, and that's always a hard function to do with Legos. So I did the rotating legs with the pins. His feet are there. He has little tail prongs. I didn't build a tail on mine. It was an oversight, but I didn't think it was very needed anyways. It just kind of would get in the way. And besides, this guy looks way cool without it. You can see how tall he is. He dwarfs the actual G1 toy. So let's move G1 Sinnertwin out of the way and bring in some characters for size comparisons. So here we have our little Lego man, and he is tiny compared to this giant Decepticon transformer. I think our Lego man would be terrified just seeing him. And we'll bring out the Sideswipe. Like before in other videos, I've said Sideswipe is one of my more medium robot types. So he's a good size comparison. So this guy is a little bigger than Sideswipe, a little smaller than Optimus Prime. So he's in pretty good scale as far as a decent sized character. Much like his G1 appearance, where most of the Transformers would be very similar in size. In the cartoon, that is, not the figures. And then we'll bring in Blot just to show a Terrorcon Beast mode to a Terrorcon Robot mode. When I transform the robots in my Legos here, they get a little bigger. So do the actual figures. So the robots are always a little bigger than their actual alt modes. And we'll bring in Cutthroat that we saw last time, just to see how he stacks up. And so Cutthroat is a little smaller. Cutthroat and Blot, who you just saw, they're about the same size in robot mode, but Sinnertwin is a bit taller, and that was to capture that cool articulation in both creature and robot mode, and to capture the look of him. I wanted him to look like him. Another thing is when I was building these guys, the scale started creeping up as I started building them, because I wanted to get some more features into these builds. And so here is Lego Transformers Generation 1 Sinnertwin, part of the Terrorcons that makes the mighty combiner Abominus. If you like this episode, give it a like, leave a comment, share it with your friends, and definitely give me a subscribe for more exciting episodes of Lego Transformers. Blood, get up.